Hey guys, it's ItsmeKristylee here with another story time for you. I have a special announcement that I am going to make. Drum roll please. I am going to start live streaming. Yes, that's right. You're going to see this beautiful face live. I need a few things from you guys though. Would you prefer story times or just a general chit chat? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, special shout out Saturday is here and I will wait until the end of the video to let you know who my special shout out Saturday is. Let's get into this story time. This story time is about my first real proper clubbing experience. So a fun fact for you, I actually got pregnant 1 month after my 18th birthday, so I didn't have much of a partying experience. I did a lot of that stuff before my 18th birthday and before I met my husband, but after I met my husband I sort of calmed down a lot. This story time takes place in 2013. If you had watched the house party gone wrong, which I'll link in the description box below, you would remember Natasha. Yes, good old Natasha. This story time took place with her and a lot of her friends. So we were at TAFE one day and Natasha came up to me and said that one of her friends wanted to go out clubbing on the weekend. I was 22 to 23 years old at that time and I hadn't really gone clubbing before, so I was a little bit hesitant. I was wanting to try new things and meet new people, so I was like, sure, let's go out clubbing. Natasha recommended to me that we have a few drinks before we go out clubbing because it would just be a lot cheaper and a lot more fun to rock up to the club tipsy. I didn't rock up to the club tipsy at all, let me tell you. We decided that we would go out clubbing the next weekend. So I let a few of my friends know that I was going to go out and they were a bit shocked. They knew that I wasn't much of a party animal anymore. So it was set. All the plans were in motion. Everything was a go. This was a Saturday night that we decided to go out. My friends rocked up to my house roughly around 4 o'clock. So we started pre-drinks at 4 p.m. I have to let you in on a little secret. I am a bit of a lightweight. Yes, I know, laugh it all up now. I don't drink that much, and when I do drink, I like to go hard. That sounds so wrong. Once I start drinking, I don't know my limits. So Natasha brings over her booze and we start drinking. A few of her other friends rocked up and they started drinking as well, and everyone was having a great time. We were sitting out the front of our house, playing music, just having a good laugh. Now, my poor husband, he wasn't thrilled about this at all because he had to be the designated driver. He wanted to be on the same level as us, but he couldn't. He had to drive. Someone had to drive, and I most certainly was not driving, especially because this nightclub was in the city and I don't like to drive much out of our suburbs. It gets to about 5 or 6 o'clock and I've had about 3 or 4 vodka shots straight. These vodka shots have gone straight to my head. Oh, I was far beyond tipsy. I was drunk. Natasha was absolutely wasted. All of our other friends were wasted and we figured we needed to stop drinking before we got to the club because we were going to not be let in. It gets to the time that we need to leave. We get in the car and we start driving to the club. I end up falling asleep in the car because I'm that drunk. I figured sleeping is probably the better option than talking and making an absolute fool of myself. We finally get to the club. I am not expecting to get in at all because I am that drunk, I just thought they were not going to let me in. But surprisingly, they let me in. They gave you these little bands to put on your wrist, whether you were single, taken, or not really sure what the deal was. So we get into the club and Stuart goes and grabs a beer. I meet up with a few of Natasha's friends and we sit down and we start talking. They offer me a shot in a syringe. Now, I'm not going to say the name, but it tasted amazing and I was already drunk, so I'm like, give me all that booze. I started talking to these drag queens who were absolutely amazing, but I couldn't tell you what we were talking about because I was that drunk, I can't remember. The world is spinning in my head. I was that drunk, but I tried to keep my cool as best as I could. I remember needing to go to the toilets and Stuart started to walk me to the toilets and I kind of propositioned him to come into the toilets with me. He said no, and if he'd realised that the toilets were unisex, he probably would have come into the toilets with me. Yeah, that would have been fun. So I'm finished in the toilet, Stuart goes and grabs another beer and I go and sit down and continue talking to Natasha's friends. And then I start to feel sick. I had not thrown up from drinking alcohol in a very long time, but I knew that the sickness was coming. So I tap Stuart on the shoulder and I say, listen babe, we've got to go. He's like, I just got myself a beer. And I said, babe, I'm going to be sick. So he necks this beer. I mean, he sculls it. And we walk outside. So it was a little bit of a walk to get to the car. And we ended up getting to the car just in time for me to sit down, open up the door, and chuck my guts up. Yes, I threw up so bad, it was crazy. My friends ended up coming outside to meet me and they knew I was an absolute mess. So we had to wait a little bit because Stuart had 2 beers in a short amount of time and we didn't want him getting pulled over and getting booked for drink driving. While we were waiting for him to sober up, all I was doing was chucking outside of my car. We end up driving home and I could not stop vomiting. We get home and I go to bed. I remember waking up in the middle of the night and throwing up on the side of my bed on the floor. I was that drunk that I couldn't even get up to go to the toilet to throw up. I had to throw up on the side of my bed. Ew, so disgusting. I definitely ended up being a lot worse off than I originally planned, but from what I can remember, I had a great time. My brother had this driving experience in a V8 supercar and that ended up being the next day. So I went to watch him drive a V8 supercar still drunk. I was still spinning and I can't really remember a lot of that day because, as I said, I was still really hammered. So that is the end of this story time for you. I really hope you enjoyed this story. My special shout out Saturday goes to one of my favorite storytime / vlogging channels. His name is BENBEN Tomlinson. I have just completely stuffed up your name. I am so sorry, Ben. He is absolutely amazing, so make sure that you go and check him out. I have put his information in the description box below. Thank you for 450 subscribers. I love each and every one of you so much. Bye.